Okay, I am talking with Dan Doubleday, one of the premier architects and workers behind the Centra sculpture. And Dan, you've been with the Sculpting Festival since the very beginning, if I understand right. Talk to us a little bit about the centerpiece this year.
Well, the centerpiece is about our armed forces, you know, a tribute to them, thanking them for their service, you know. So the iconic Iwo Jima raising of the flag, you know, is the centerpiece this year, and we'll have some dog tags up there with each branch of the service on the dog tag with a chain going through it. It was pretty easy design actually because it was all right there anyway, you know. Yeah. It's a pretty iconic photo, you know. So.
Well, it's going to be kind of interesting, and it always is interesting to watch as this unfolds.
Yeah, we're excited. We've got some great talent here. Danny Belcher carved that whole thing by himself there in the last couple of days, and it's easy when you got people like that around you.
Now, I was talking to Meredith earlier today about the weather coming up, and in terms of the pound up, you know, for the other sculptors before they start the carving, that's probably going to be good with the rain and all of that, but you're going to be working on the centerpiece. How's that going to affect you?
Well, this sand is really good sand. It can take a certain amount of weather, you know, but we're expecting some tropical downpours, they're calling it, you know, so we'll cover this with a thin sheet of plastic tonight to protect it, you know, from the elements, you know, and we should be okay. When the sculptures start on Wednesday, we kind of like it overcast and wet at that time, but after the sculptures start being carved, we like the weather sunny and fair, and so does the crowd when they come on the weekend. So, but
you know, if I'm looking at tomorrow, it's going to be mostly raining all day long. So you're going to actually be working on this in the rain. How does that affect you there?
It affects us personally because it's kind of gritty and wet, and you know, and then the sun will come out and it'll rain. So we're crawling back into wet, sandy rain gear and then out of it and back into it, you know. But it's all right. We've been through hurricanes and tornadoes and floods, and you know, we pretty much, we're professionals. We don't stop.
Piece of cake.
We're like mailmen, you know. We just go.
All right. Well, switching from the centerpiece to your sculptor this year, where are you going to be in the lineup this year?
I am, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am number 8, so I'm right next to the group carve here. It starts down at the north end at 1 and ends at 15 down at the south end. Okay. And right in between them is the centerpiece here, so I'm centrally located.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you might be doing?
No. Well, you know,
I expected that.
We have the most powerful lineup of sculptures in the world at this event this year. I mean, we went all out. We got people coming in from Russia, from Singapore, from Belgium, from Holland, from Mexico. I mean, the best of the best of the best are going to be here this year. So, and when you do this for a living and you compete against these guys all over the world and girls, the most important thing is the idea. Because there's only so many ideas out there, and so you really got to get creative in order to win. So nobody shares their idea before they're, you know, we just don't talk about it because, you know, it could be stolen from you, and we don't do that. So I'll do an interesting piece. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
And if there's anything comes through from most of the artists, you know, it's a very personal thing. It's and I think, to quote you, from the heart. And I wanted to talk about that, Talking to the Moon, which was one of the pieces that was in your little bio this year. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Talking to the Heart and why that was so important to you.
Well, I had never been away from my baby girl, and when she was 11, I divorced her mother and I moved to Florida. And I was talking with her on the phone one night, and she was crying because she missed her daddy and I missed her. And I said, "You see that moon outside?" It was a crescent moon. She could see it from California, and I could see it from Florida. I said, "Anytime you want to talk to me, you just talk to that moon and I'll hear you." So I did a piece in Harrison. It was a little girl sitting on the moon with a face on a crescent moon with a face on it, and she's sitting there with her hand on it. It was called Talking to the Moon. That was for my daughter. And that's what I'm talking about, carving from the heart, because you leave a piece of yourself on the beach when you do something like that, you know.
Yeah, that's so important. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, because that really speaks to every one of you guys that are out here. It's not, I mean, there are technical engineering feats involved in what you do, but it is truly from the heart, yeah?
Yes, well, that's all I ask of these. I've competed again. I met these guys traveling the world, and they're here because I know their capability, and I know that they have a gift of carving, leaving a part of themselves on the beach, and that's all we ask is you do that. And if you do that, the criteria comes automatic. You know, I mean, you'll fit into it. I don't want anybody to carve just to do this. If you carve from the heart, it's going to be there, you know, so it's real important. And you're going to see some great art here this week.
And I think every year we've seen that people do carve from the heart. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you.
Good luck the rest of the week. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're working on.
Okay, see you.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right, I'm standing here with Rusty Croft and Dan Belcher.
Yeah.
And welcome, Dan.
Well, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And Rusty.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Going to be going back and forth here all afternoon. Rusty, you're working on this sculpture here, which is part of the whole kind of centerpiece area. Tell us a little bit about what this is all about.
Yeah, 20th Century Fox is releasing the DVD of Rio 2, the new kids movie coming out this Tuesday. And they hired me to do a sand sculpture here in Revere Beach just to promote that event.
Yeah, this is great. You know, with the parrot and the, what do we got here? The turtles and the little pigeons and...
Yeah, the whole family.
The whole family.
The whole family.
I've seen the movie, right? And Dan, you're working on the centerpiece with the other Dan up there.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, that's correct. What we're doing is a very stylized representation of the flag raising at Iwo Jima. So we just got that completed, and because the storm is coming in, maybe today and tomorrow, we're wrapping that in plastic so that we can secure that from the heavy rains. And once that passes, we'll take that plastic off and be able to continue on down that pile.
And so then, is it Wednesday? I think both of you are going to be going off to work on your individual pieces, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah, that's correct. Not only us, but there's going to be 15 total carvers, competitors from I don't even know how many different countries, but just some phenomenal talent here, wonderful people. So starting Wednesday and then for 4 days going straight through to Saturday and then the judging, and we'll see what happens.
Either one of you want to talk about what you're going to be creating?
It's still it's very friendly competition, folks. Come on down, it's lots of fun.
Until Ginto gets here.
Yeah, until Ginto, especially when Ginto gets here, and we have someone to hold. I'm still working on the design, maybe a big eyeball, maybe a big brain, maybe an abstract piece this year. So still waiting for the inspiration, lightning to strike, so to speak.
No. Speaking of lightning, if I remember 2 years ago, you did a thunderstorm one. Am I right?
Yeah, I did a tornado coming through that year. Actually, it was interesting. In Missouri, we were having a lot of big. We had some big tornadoes and thunderstorms. And it was kind of a lot of people had a lot of loss, and it was I was inspired. A friend of mine's, a guy I work with, his parents survived in their house, huddled in the bathroom, and it was just amazing how many people survived. You know, just taking care of themselves. And so it was one of those things that was on my mind at the time.
Dan Doubleday talked about how a lot of what you guys do comes from the heart. And to your point, and I know your piece last year, I think, was a parent that passed away, was it?
2 years ago was a piece in remembrance of my mother. Yeah.
Your mother.
Yeah. So, a lot of what we do, I mean, sometimes you do things that are a little more whimsical and something that's just more aesthetic. And then sometimes you really put your heart on the line, but your heart always goes into it no matter what you're doing.
So, and I'm trying to picture the word, but what is it that kind of influences you in your work?
It's the exact same thing like you're saying, from the heart. It's got to be something that you really feel and believe in, that you want to make happen. It's a lot of work. We move almost 30,000 pounds of sand in 3 days into a box, compress it, take the box off, and carve it. So to do that much effort, to put that much effort into something, you really want to get something out of it. So it's got to be something that you really want to express or believe in or bring to life. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to see what both of you create. So good luck with the rest of the week.
Thanks, sir. Truly
Hope the weather doesn't cause you any hassles.
Yeah, me too.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm standing here with two of the other competitors, the first of which is Hanukkah Supply from the Netherlands. Welcome, Hanneke.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, if I understand, you said you're from Rotterdam, yeah?
Yes.
But originally from Belgium.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was born in Bruges,
In Bruges.
but I got married to a Dutch guy, so now
Yeah.
I live in Rotterdam. Yeah.
I was doing a little research on you and about some of your work, and it was quite interesting, the heart, the soul that you put into your work. And some of you talk a little bit about what influences you.
Yes, yeah. I have a blog, which is called Studio Bubbles, and I'm Miss Bubbles, and I do illustrations, and I talk about creativity and where you get your inspiration and stuff like that. Yeah.
I found it kind of interesting because I think your latest blog was about who you are or what you do. Talk about that a little bit, because that was quite interesting.
Yeah, because I do, of course, sand sculpting, ice sculpting, all these different materials, and I'm doing drawings. So sometimes it's very hard because people don't know, what are you? Are you a sculptor? Are you a illustrator? What are you? And I struggle with that, and I think in the end it's all about, it's all me. And it's about bubbles.
It's about bubbles. And next to me on my other side here is Abe Waterman from Prince Edward Island, if I get it right.
Yep.
Yeah, well, welcome, Abe. Tell us a little bit about your influences.
I don't know what influences me. It's just whatever, anything and everything.
Yeah.
I try and
So-
switch it up all the time.
Do you come with a kind of plan for what you're going to sculpt, or are you just going to make it up on the fly?
I generally come with a plan.
Okay.
My success with going on the fly is not so good.
So you've tried that before and it didn't work so well.
Yeah, well, I still try it all the time,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work out.
You a native to PEI?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's great. My family comes from up that way, so welcome. So there's a little kinship there. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing?
I'm going to do a tribute to Ronnie Earl. He's a local blues musician.
Ronnie Earl and the Broadcasters, yeah.
That's them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite guitar players. So.
Interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's going to look like, or do you want to save that?
I'm going to have to save that because I'm still working on it.
There you go. Well, you got the idea, but not the thing. How about yourself, Hanneke? Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be working on?
Well, I'm also working on something personal. It's about the fact that I travel a lot and I have children and I have my husband and I have all these different. So I'm doing a sculpture about the fact that you should never turn your back on the ones you love.
Wonderful. So there you have it. We have Ronnie Earl and the Broadcasters, and we have Never Turning Your Back on the Ones You Love. So once again, some really interesting pieces that are going to be evolving and developing on the beach as we go on. Thank you both very much. Good luck and welcome. Take care, Abe. Thank you.
Attend the 11th Annual National Sand Sculpting Festival, Friday, July 18th to Sunday, July 20th on Revere Beach, featuring this year's theme, Stars and Stripes, Sand and Sun, a salute to our nation's armed forces. See international master sand sculptors, enjoy fun family activities including amusement rides, free kids sand sculpting lessons, and a spectacular world-class fireworks display. This year, experience the culinary delights of over 40 of New England's most renowned gourmet food trucks. All events are free and open to the public.